Hi everyone, I'm here today with my Gotway Nikola. It's the 84 volt version with the initial board in it. Now my Nikola has actually performed very well. I haven't had any single issues with it whatsoever. It's just been a true trooper. And I've also actually checked my previous board for any potential problems. The boards that we know have had problems before with 84 volt Nikola, and they have had issues with some kind of adhesive between the MOSFETs and the thermal pad, and which is not a good idea basically. My board has actually been cleaned and it's been working very well. But even so, I have gotten a replacement board with the new beefier MOSFETs, and today's project is going to be to open up the wheel again, and I'm going to install the new board. And hopefully you can tag along a little bit, and if you're going to do it yourself, you might pick up some good pointers on how to do it, and perhaps on what not to do. Let's see how this works out. Okay, first off, you don't actually need to have much in the way of tools to actually do this. We're gonna need a hex wrench. This is the 5 sharp knife, such as this carpet knife. It could be useful in cutting away some silicone. I have some additional silicone on my own, RTV, room temperature vulcanizing silicone. This is actually optional. It's for if you want to reattach the connections after you actually replace the board, you can do that. And I just have a screwdriver, or basically a screwdriver set. And you can also just use one of these for taking apart the shell, but it's going to take quite a while, so if you don't have one of these sets, then do get one. All right. So, what we're gonna do first is that we're gonna remove the pedals. We're gonna use the hex wrench for this, which just unscrew here, unscrew from the other side. We're gonna push the pole out and try to catch the washers in the middle here. And then we're gonna lift the pedal off. Having done that, we're gonna just take this part of the shell away. I don't know if you can see it, but the front of the wheel is here. So I'm gonna be removing the right shell, which will give us access to the motherboard, the PCB there. Yeah, and for the shell, the only screws are here. Okay, so let's get cracking. All right, back at it. With all the screws removed, all 6. It's time to basically just pry off the shell here. Now, I suggest just using something like flat-handed screwdriver, if need be, to force the shell up. Until you basically can just remove it with your hands. Come on. Now, since I actually painted mine, I think paint isn't really helping either. There we go. Alright. Now, there's, if I recall correctly, there's a little bit of tape here in the middle. Fasten. Yeah, this one. So when you pull it off, it's probably going to stick here in the middle. But there aren't actually any screws here. There's just the adhesive stuff. Right. Shell is off. Right. It's time to have a look at this. Let's see if I can give you a little bit of a better view here. Hopefully. Okay. So here we have it. The first thing we want to do is, before we actually start putting our hands anywhere in there, we should make sure that we don't actually have or carry any electrostatic charge. Now in my case, actually, I have a radiator right below the table, and that's a grounded radiator. I'm just going to touch the shell of that. Yeah, left, right, left. And I'm all good, and I'm not standing on a carpet or anything like that. So next thing, I want to disconnect the battery. There you go, fine. Battery is disconnected. Next thing you want to do, you want to power up the wheel again. Yeah. And that's just to discharge the capacitors. You always do that with things with capacitors. You can get very nasty shocks otherwise. Okay, so there we have it. I'm probably gonna see if I can turn this around a little bit, or I can just move myself. No. No. I ain't moving. Okay, so it's time to remove the old board. It's basically have one screw here, and you have one screw with a washer here. So those will have to be unscrewed. Come. And what's this? Yeah, this is of course a small ordinary screw head. I'm gonna change the bit. Yeah, and there's another washer there as well for the screw. Put that there. And this is another screw. Can't even count on those two being the same. How could that be? Color washer. Yeah, that's probably because I actually lost, when I opened up my wheel last time, I lost one of the screws and I replaced it. And with a better one than the original one. Okay, then there we have it. And at this point, there isn't actually anything holding the board in place anymore except all the cables and connectors, which we're going to disconnect, of course. Now, let's see. Gonna see what we can do about the view. Maybe to perhaps make it better. Now, for me personally, I would say that the first rule of taking anything apart is don't take anything apart until you're actually fully sure that you have documented it sufficiently that you will be able to put it back together. And if any one of us try this, we will know that it's very easy to actually take something apart. And then you sit there and you scratch your head and you're trying to desperately remember how it actually looked from the start. Now there are a couple of different ways you can do this, of course, but nowadays with modern phones, one of the absolutely easiest one is to make sure you actually take a good amount of photos. And I say that that's a very good start. Try to get it from some different angles as well. You know, and then take more than you think that you will need. Because if you're anything like me, then you might still not have taken quite enough. And you know, the one extra photo can actually save you. Go with that. Oh yeah, and here you can also see some silicone going on. So basically the Gotway tend to apply that very liberally. Yeah, the capacitor is hanging down. Yeah, kind of slightly weak legs there. Anyway, so what we're gonna do now is obviously we're gonna have to remove all these connectors. These ones, these ones, these ones. Yeah, of course, the main three here. This one will stick, and we're gonna have to disconnect that one below. Yeah, this can stick, but we just need to remove it from the board. And in order to do that, you're gonna have to be gently loosen the connectors from the board, and since they're full with silicone, you're gonna have to at least cut that open, and preferably without actually nicking any of the wires, because then you're being in a real bad spot. You're gonna have to start doing some soldering. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start shaving off some silicone. I'm actually gonna reapply some back later, so I'm gonna take a little bit of time here and see if how much I can actually remove. Okay, so I'm making some progress here with disconnecting the first board. Yeah, it's kind of a fiddly work basically, because with all the silicone applied, everything just ties together, so you're gonna have to kind of separate it enough that you can actually pull out the wires in a good way. I've done that for these three, and then we have these two, and then we have all the four here, which, where the hell are they? Here's one, yeah. Yeah, they're basically just strewn all around here. And if you look at this, I hope that you might agree with me that it's a good thing that you hopefully have taken some photos and try to remember a little bit which one goes where. Alright. What I've personally done, apart from taking some photos, I've actually applied a little bit of a, not sure if it's visible, but I applied a little bit of a color pen to it. So for instance, I know this with the red one goes together with this one. Since this has one dot and this has two, I know that these will fit together like this. You can always go back and look at the photos as well, but still, anything that helps. And here are also the wires I'm disconnecting now. So we have the green one, the blue one, and that's the yellow one. Now, we're gonna pull these out. So much wires. Move away. Just grab and come on. Gently pull them out. So they're kind of stuck. Just gentle but firm. Same here. Come here. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's see what I still have here. The fan. I still have the fan. Yeah, this one. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna have to open this one up in order to remove it. Yeah, we'll see with the fan. The new boards, new version of the boards, basically, they're done a little bit differently with the fan, I believe. So I believe we're gonna end up with some connector just dangling around the new board. But okay, anyway, I'm gonna just separate this so that I can then remove the board fully, and then it's time to bring out the new replacement. So let's unwrap the new board. Have a look at that. Yeah, the big difference between the two boards, of course, are the MOSFETs. You have one row there and one row below. So for the new replacement board, these are TO247 packages. And for the previous first generation board, they are TO220. And manufacturing wise, the first version of the boards used, you probably won't be able to see anything here anyway. Yeah, a little bit. So, but I used 2 strips of thermal pad behind each row of the MOSFETs. And apparently, at least someone thought that some adhesive would help in assembling this. New board, beefier MOSFETs, and you only use 1 large thermal pad, which should hopefully help them with the assembly. Okay. Good stuff. So now it's basically the time to figure out the differences between where the cables go. And I'm going to have a little bit of a look at the schematics for each of the boards. You can find them online. And also we have this. This is the Bluetooth board. And we actually need to move that over here. So I think I'm actually gonna start with that. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna double check where all of the connectors go, and then we're just gonna put everything back together again. All right. Okay. So I just basically sliced carefully through the silicone in order to be able to lift it up. And I'm going to put it on the new board. And one thing to note here is that the actual Bluetooth board here only have 4 pins, while the connector have 5 slots. And you're going to put them in these 4. So the one on the far end is going to end up being empty. Silicone. This is nicely wrapped up in plastic. Okay. No. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's pushed down on place on the new board. Excellent. A little bit of a wiggle. I'm just gonna drop some more silicone on it. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it at the end. So always end up being a mess when you deal with silicone. Anyway, it's firmly in place. So now I'm gonna just take some time, go through the pictures, and see what's what. You know, just look at the boards. They're actually not that dissimilar. And here you have this. You know, this is an extra daughter board situated on top of the other board. In my case, it's already connected. Right, so that goes there, that goes there. What? Some glue. That is not silicone, but instead glue. Alright, yeah, okay. And these now go to the fan. Yep, the fan. And then this comes here. Apart from that, old board had 3 of the connectors here, and not really the same here. Instead we have, yeah, we're gonna have to see what it looks like. We have 1 additional 3-pin connector here. And looking at this one, looks pretty similar actually. Yeah, shouldn't be. Alright, so after having looked at the schematics, most things appear to be the same actually. Like I said, there are a couple of differences. If you look here, like their original board has 3 connectors here. New board over here has 4. Just use the right most 3 ones. That should be the same. Here, this was the old fan negative thing, and that's already connected there, so you don't have to bother about that. If you're like me and have these things all connected from the start. Apart from that, these 3, they're the same, so connect them in the same place. And then the one that is actually different. Here on the original board, you have the 2 connectors here, which is highlight and was labeled as USB. And for the new board, there you go. Hopefully you can see it there, right? So there you now have 3 connectors. Now, so if you just take the 2 or the 2 from the original board and place them in an up row, that won't really work. Since then I've changed it so the headlight is supposed to go there. So it's the one below. And then from my reading, these 2 are basically interchangeable. So I'm just gonna put the USB on top of that. So headlight there, and that one I'm just leave the 3rd one unused. Right, time to just reassemble everything and we'll see how. So almost everything connected again and ready to go. We have this one USB that's gonna go up there, but I figured since the cable is so short and I don't want to open this final ziplock up, I'm just gonna put it in after I slide the board down. Of course, not sure you can see this, but the board does not actually fit. Ah, man, why? I just want to shove you in there, but you won't fit. Oh, all right. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna have to grab a file and file this thing down. I think it's just actually the edge there that's too wide. It's not been cut correctly, so I'm just gonna grab a file and file it down. So you might also need a file. All right, so everything seems to be well. I'm just gonna finish off here. I'm gonna take a little bit of silicone for the Bluetooth board, some for the Hall sensors. Yeah, I'll probably just dab some on here as well to make sure things are reattached. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I'm still not sure whether I'm actually gonna open up the board later and replace the thermal pads with TO247 thermal individual self-adhesive thermal pads instead. In which case the silicone will be an issue. I'm gonna do some silicone. I want some paper. Fuck. Alright, you silicone. My silicone friend. As for the silicone, I think you could pretty much use any kind of silicone which is not electrically conductive. You know, good dielectric properties. Right. Silicone. I hate you. There we go. Let's fix that Bluetooth board. Come on. And over here for the hall sensor, and the hall sensor, interestingly enough, is the one connector here on the board where they haven't actually put a lot of silicone on it to begin with. Well, I'll out Gotway and I put some silicone on it anyway. So that's fine. Yeah, we have these. But what the hell is that? Put silicone on that. Yeah, there as well. Just gonna check that it's actually completely in place. Yeah. Okay, right, there we have it. Let's pull down the socks. Now it's silicone on them. Alright, shelves back on. Yep. Yeah, alright, good. Right, so that's that for now. We'll see if I actually open up to replace the thermal pads later. But anyway, that's installing the new Nikola board. It's for the first generation, where you had an old one. Well, hopefully you enjoyed some of this, and if you're gonna do it yourself, I'm hoping you might have some help from seeing it being done.